Hello and welcome to Beach Bend Raceway, where we are here for LS Fest with our Plymouth Duster. It's been a monumental task to even get to the start of this questionable, if not somewhat stupid idea of taking one car to race as grand champion at LS Fest, Holley Mo Party, and the Holley Intergalactic Ford Fest. And first off, I need to say thank you to a group of friends. I was pretty much hopelessly behind. It's a matter of, I won't say poor planning. I had everything planned out and we were kind of going well on schedule, but a couple things happened in life where my attention was pulled away from the shop. You got to take care of your family first. Had to spend some time taking care of family. And then my good friend Travis Bell reached out and asked if I would be willing to come up to Indianapolis to help support an event he was holding to raise money for a good cause. And I couldn't say no to that. So, while hopelessly behind, I took a couple days, ran up to Indy to the Outbacks in the Midwest event where two good friends that I hadn't seen in a very long time, Ken and Nathaniel from Spider Garage, took a 2-hour road trip just to say hey, to see the El Camino, and just see the whole car show. And while we were there, we were talking, and I was talking about, you know, pretty much how far behind I was, and I don't know if Ken was joking or not, but he said, hey, do you want Nathaniel to come down? Which I didn't hesitate. I said, come on down, please help. And he came down. Sean Sweaty Speed Shop, he brought him along, my friend Chris from Chicken City Hot Rods, and Jacob Davis from Sally Speed Shop. They all came in clutch at the very end. You saw them in the last episode, and absolutely without them, we would not be here racing. So, even before my sponsors, thanks to you guys, thank you to all the viewers who support the videos and get us going, because well, really none of it's possible without any of you. And now let's kind of run down the list of just the brand partners that got us here. J&J Auto Wrecking, giving us all of the engines. Well, they're loaning us two. You'll probably be able to buy the LS and the Coyote if I don't blow them up. The Hemi is mine, our surprise 7-liter stroker. Of course, Holley Performance and their entire family. We got Holley EFI, Bear Brakes, Gear FX. We've got Frostbite radiators, Hooker Blackheart exhaust. We've even got the Flowmaster Build It Series exhaust kit on the car. We've got American Powertrain and their manual transmission conversions for sending out all of the clutches, the hydraulic slave cylinder conversion, the fitting kit, the shifter, everything we needed to get that Tremec TKX bolted into the Duster. We got the QA1 Level 3 A-Body Mopar front end kit on this. We've got the US Car Tool Level 3 chassis stiffening kit. We've got just about everything we could throw at this car, and it's completely untested, and we're about to go racing. So, also thank you to Robert for coming out to film again. That's it, we are here. We've made it to the start line of an absolutely insane adventure, and it's time to go racing. Let's see how we do.
Make it embarrassing. The car's cold right now.
We're all embarrassing when we're cold.
Racing's been going on for an hour. Bob helped with some last minute thrashing things. Also, Bob's behind the camera again.
Would you like to thank anyone for this award ceremony? You made it to the event.
I mean, listen, that's a whole nother thing when I can actually fully compose my thoughts, because this is only happening because, one, the partners have been great, but I got a long list of actual people who came in last minute. Literally, like last minute, 10 plus hours of driving to come and help put the car together. So that's my award ceremony talk for a little later. Oh, bleeding the brakes was a good idea. They're way better now. We're here. I gotta find a spot that's not taken. There There's not much room left anywhere.
It's time for the first lap of autocross. I missed the course walk, so it's time to go as fast as I possibly can with no idea where I'm going.
How do you feel about run one?
I got lost, which I expected. I drove harder than I needed to while learning the course. Not a good time at all. Traction is a lot of issues. But it drove, and it's not done that since 1979, so that's a win.
And what an awful year to drive in.
It turns out a gas cap from 1970 isn't very good at keeping gas in, and I got a fairly stern talking to for all of the gas that was pouring out of the filler neck.
It's my rust preventative.
That's not how gas works. The guys that were standing next to me while I was filming just kept saying how much fuel you were dumping out.
Well, I was able to check video, and second lap was a 48 second. Still not very competitive, but it's better than 56 seconds. We didn't get lost, but we're kind of on project hold. We are dumping fuel, and the cap just isn't getting any tighter. So Robert's making a quick parts store run, and we're getting another cap that may or may not fit and a bunch of rubber material. So they'll hopefully let us go back out on the track, because I guess as you could hear, some people were complaining that all I was doing was dumping fuel out there, which is kind of true.
Because LS Fest has so many competitors, it actually takes place at 2 different tracks. So a 6-mile drive over to the NCM track was the first real road test of Try Hard.
Where are we?
We're at the National Corvette Museum racetrack to get to our second autocross track of the day. We've got lots of smells to investigate. Make sure we're not on fire or anything too catastrophic.
Or leaking too much gas.
Hopefully we're done leaking gas. If it is, we just need to make sure there's no fuel in it. We just run the bare bones amount of fuel. Hey look, they came from Missouri too.
Hey! See, they got the historic plates too, because Missouri has safety inspections. You got this car registered in Georgia. There's no mirrors in here.
There's not much car here.
No, I mean, there's no gauges at all, except for this vitally important ECU meter here.
I mean, that tells me everything I need to know.
Except for speed.
I don't need to know.
This is true. All vehicles must meet a sound reading of 105 decibels. You good?
This is an off-the-shelf exhaust system. Slightly modified to fit, but all the mufflers are as they send them.
Is that how you describe the car too? Off the shelf, slightly modified to fit?
Yeah. That's also a way you can describe me. Off the shelf, slightly modified to fit.
One part of Grand Champion is drag racing. Normally we would get 3 passes or an hour to do all of our runs, but due to the drag racers braking so much, they are way behind schedule and we're told we get only 1 pass. And I've been dealing with violent spring wrap and wheel hop anytime I try to accelerate. You know, the one thing you're doing while you're drag racing.
He has now moved slightly. These updates brought to you by Holley. He has now advanced forward in line. These exhilarating updates brought to you by Holley.
I gave myself 2 goals for my quarter-mile pass. Survive and beat a 14-second quarter mile.
So, horrible traction. We had the spring wrap problem that we've been having all day. Got into second gear and it hooked up and the thing was ready to go. Horrible ET of 13.9, just under 14 seconds. I did want it to be better than 14, just barely.
I guessed 17 before you went out.
114 miles an hour and a piece of crap that's not been down the road since 1979.
Today our run group started off at NCM's course, where I set out and get ready to push the car much harder now that I'm a little more familiar with it and we've made it through day 1.
42! I have no idea what the time was.
47.8, which is my best time yet, so I'm happy. Car's getting better, learning how to work around the leaf springs. So we were talking about spring wrap and the rear spring issue. What's happening is when I'm accelerating, the axle's actually twisting and bending the leaf springs. Something I'm not supposed to have a problem with these springs. Everyone said on the internet. Turns out the internet was wrong. Also, I set my GoPro up for an outside shot, which was the wrong move because I left my drink in the car. And my first braking zone, it shot forward, hit something sharp, and exploded. So if we go and look at the windshield...
Oh, no.
It was just the whole run.
Well, see, I would blame you for not having windshield wipers, but no car has them on the inside, yeah.
Yeah, it's not on the inside, so... Mostly on Bob's seat, though.
So here's the question. Where did it hit something sharp? Because everything in here is perfectly docile.
So it was down in that region, and then it was here, and then it was up here at one point. If you look at the ceiling.
Oh, geez. Oh. Rust proofing.
So time came for my second run, but I quickly got pulled out of line as Tryhard developed a fairly major fuel leak. And it wasn't the cap.
So what's the issue?
I built a fuel-efficient muscle car, apparently. We put 5 gallons of gas in it, and that's too much. I expected to have burnt off at least that amount. And with old car tanks, doesn't matter, everything's new, everything's old, they leak gas if you put too much in. So I'm trying to bleed it off enough so they're content with me running, so. Also, while I was under here, I found my diff cooler line loosened a little bit again, so gotta find a different fitting for that. But
well, I saw you on the berm over there earlier. What was that about?
Just trying to get more gas to try to drain off the top of the tank, because we gave them the 2 gallons, our neighbors, and there's still, I'm thinking, there's some fuel sitting on top of the tank now, so we're not actively leaking, but we have to just get enough off so it quits running off the car.
So your fatal error this morning was getting gas?
Yeah.
Okay.
My rear end holding up great, but my gas not getting on my rear end.
You need to think about that more before you say.
No, that's the trick to YouTube. Don't think. The more you think.
I'll make sure to not heed that advice.
Think just do. You're lined up like me, on your back. at the racetrack, blindly tightening an AN fitting, realizing you got 2 more weekends of it.
Hey, someone chose to do this and it wasn't me.
You're here.
Thinking it was just a leak from too much fuel, I drove around the parking lot and then parked on a hill to get all the fuel to run off from the top of the tank and get ready to go again. Calling over an official, though, determined I would not be going again.
No good.
Big leak. So now you're looking for someone to give a couple of gallons of gas to.
I already gave 2 away and filled their container up, so I need to find another empty container to give a little bit of gas to. Although the drip is slowing down.
Yeah, but that's still a pretty substantial puddle.
You deal with old cars.
Yeah.
You should know that's not a substantial puddle.
Yeah, it's a pretty substantial puddle. Mine don't leak.
They just burn.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe we've got it fixed. You know, we've stolen tools from everyone in the paddock. You can key on, Robert.
Oh, I thought you were talking to the camera.
I am talking to the camera.
Oh.
This camera. But the fuel pump hat got loose. And it's still gushing.
Where from?
Dang it.
After more investigation, it is not the leaking fuel hat that is the issue. It will still leak when it's stationary, but the engine's running. So Jared is going to go find a jack.
I found some tools laying around, so hopefully I can get to where all my fuel fittings are and check them over.
Good news, some positivity here. Since you've jacked up the car on that side, the fuel leak has moved to over here, away from your face.
Over where? Oh, yeah?
Drop in the tank?
Yeah, I gotta lower it down enough. Lots of fun. Lots and lots of fun.
Have you found what is leaking?
Something in the fuel hat area, only with the key on, which is unusual, but I think, like Bob was saying, it ended up just being happenstance. It started leaking right after the fill up. Of course. It just wanted to be one of those kind of cars.
Well, so far the only problems you've had with this whole car have been leaks.
Mostly just fuel leaks.
Yeah, and you also had a problem with the diff cooler line, right?
It just got a little loose. That's just normal race car stuff. But you know, fuel pump hats vomiting, not so normal.
We thought it was a braze fitting, but it's actually
best case because we can fix it. The braze fitting, I thought it was a pre-form fitting the way it was spraying, but Robert sacrificed his phone by putting it in the line of fire. And my nice, fancy, expensive fuel-safe Teflon is not very fuel-safe. So we pulled the fitting. I ran around to everyone else who's got the race trailers here. We found some Teflon. We're going to put it back together, test it, make sure we've got no leaks, and then we will get it back in the car, maybe get one more lap here, and then back to Beach Bend.
Where we'll have no troubles at all.
Listen,
and have only
this is
fun.
not a trouble. This is old car life.
Any final words?
Like thank my mom.
Really?
Yeah, she'd always support me wrenching. My race car, when I was 14, was doing head gaskets, and I was a 14-year-old, didn't have money for new head bolts, so I was reusing them. I had to get the old Teflon out, and I didn't have a wire brush, so we were using our fingernails, and my mom's there in the workshop with me, with her nice nails, cleaning the thread in the old Teflon. I want to thank my mom, because she supported my absolute insanity. I wouldn't probably be this way without her.
I quickly ran over to the bathroom to get most of the gasoline out of my armpits, drove up to the officials letting me have one last run. The last run of the day, I had to make it count.
Duster off! Jared.
No.
Jared.
I parked in someone else's spot. This has nothing to do with us.
This looks worse than the Robin. The EPA wants to have a word with you.
EPA.
It's APA.
EPA. Simpsons movie. Come on. I was close. I don't think I got one, but I think my last run was a mid 45.
Awesome.
Like, eclipsed my best.
Wow. And you're not leaking fuel?
We're not leaking fuel. Like, it's just ended really. I really wish. I finally felt good enough to push the car. I just know I can't use first gear. I spring wrap way too much in it. Get into second gear, and I still spring wrap, but I'm able to push the car really hard and make it do things. So
yeah, I think you feel comfortable with the car now. You should leave it alone now, right? That's the plan, right? Not touch it, not put a new engine in it?
No, because I don't own this engine.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
I own the Hemi. This is on borrow.
Well, then you should blow it up.
There was no stipulation that I had to give it back intact. Sorry, John and J&J, I can't promise you it's still going to be a working engine. No, it should be fine.
Back to Beach Bend to wrap up Autocross, where the stands are packed on Saturday at LS Fest. It's the same course as the day before, but now we have a car I trust a little bit more, and fuel's staying mostly where it's supposed to be.
All right, I have not gotten a chance to actually do this track walk. We've done 2 laps on it, but it being Saturday and it being the afternoon, there's a lot of people here, so I want to do the car well, and making sure I remember the track is key. There's probably only going to be 3 laps, so we got to make them all count and put it all out there. We got a car that's pretty happy, and it's time to go. This setup here is kind of what you jokingly call the choose your own adventure. You pick which way you want to slalom it, and it's always about picking the lane that's going to set you up best out there.
And it turns out they do not award bonus points for flair in autocross. Who knew? I just ran my best time, but it was void due to the cones I demolished at the finish line.
That was your best time.
Ed strong, 35.283. Like, that was a full second and change off my last best.
Yeah.
That felt really good. I'm finally pushing. There's a difference between pushing the car and hooning and actually pushing to be fast. And I was like, finally was like, put it together. Not bad. Not bad. I'm pleased with a car that hasn't done a dang thing in 40 some odd years.
Once again, the drag racers broke all day long and ran long so we would only get one pass at the drag strip. To try and combat the spring wrap issue, I decided to try and slip the clutch more. That was a bad idea.
Let's not talk about it.
Was that 16 seconds?
I tried something to manage the leaf spring hop by modulating the clutch, and I just cooked it. The clutch slipped the entire, nothing I could do to get it to hook up, so I just kind of lifted and got through the traps. But the clutch was slipping horribly because I was trying to get it to keep from bouncing the rear, and I slipped the clutch too much.
The scoring board was broken, so I was legitimately asking, was that a 16?
Yeah, it was 16
Okay.
at 90 miles an hour.
I couldn't tell if it was just the first digit missing or if it was just completely
No, I went 6 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was driver error. I was trying to, again, get some power down by modulating the clutch and just cooked it.
Bless you, Robert. Now it is Sunday and time for the 3S Challenge, the final part of Grand Champion, Speed, Steer, Stop.
Still going. 14.8 again. He's consistent.
It's done. We're gonna do more. I need to remount my taillight. That's gone.
Yeah, the only thing that didn't survive the steer, start, stop challenge is in there. Probably.
Yeah, it's in.
Yeah.
Someone came up and said you had a taillight out, and I'm like, no, I have a taillight in.
Extra in.
Extra in. But
Ingrown taillight.
it's round one. I was hoping to be top 10 and win. Probably not, but we have finished. Thank you for filming. I'll have to figure out how to do everything myself next weekend.
You make it sound like you're thanking the audience for filming.
Robert.
Me.
You know, I would have loved to have been higher, but for a completely unproven car, we're running solid middle with the pack, which is a lot better than some other cars. So I'm thrilled, and we're driving it to the trailer. We're gonna drive it on a trailer and get ready to start all of this all over again. Well, all right, we went ahead and just kind of jumped ahead a little bit. We finished pulling the transmission, got the engine up and out. You've seen, you know, in the last episode and the previous episodes, these engines come in and out a lot. So we've got our LS perfectly running engine there. We could have just continued working on improving the chassis. Instead, we're going to get our 7-liter Hemi engine wired up, running. The exhaust is already fabbed up. I just need to weld in an exhaust bung for the sensor, and I am very happy that Jacob's work on that steering shaft is continuing to clear our engines. There's one more that's even bigger than all of these that we're worried about. But so far, so good. I'm going to get all of this footage over to Dwayne so you guys can enjoy all of the LS Fest activities as close to it actually happening as possible. I got home really late last night, and we're in the shop working because we don't have time to dilly-daddle. We've got to get a running Hemi and get right back out to Kentucky. But I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I'm having a lot of fun getting this forgotten Duster that literally has been parked since 1979. We just took it racing, and we're about to take it racing again. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm Jared, reminding you guys to always make questionable choices. Nothing's too far gone, as long as you're stubborn enough to see it through. We'll see ya.